This is the help video for the student decision, climate change, and migration. For this one, you're going to have to think like a crabber. Um, we're trying to study how humans rely on resources and how, resource depletion can cause people to migrate, right? If they run out of food, they might have to move. And that's kind of what this one's like. Now, for more modern places like America, although we don't necessarily catch or grow all the food we eat, we do have jobs that make us money that we can buy food with. So for this assignment, I'll set up the background for you. Imagine you are a crabber that lives in Alaska. You make your living by catching and selling crabs, right? Like the Deadliest Catch show. Now, for the last 10 years, you haven't been catching that many crabs. And last year, the Department of Fish and Game actually canceled the crab season because there wasn't a big enough population of crabs for everyone to participate in catching them. You also heard that next year they might do the same thing. They might cancel the crab season, which is bad for you because that's how you make money. So essentially, what you're going to do is decide whether or not you're going to move to a different state to do a different industry or stay in Alaska. And essentially, you have three options, as the worksheet says. You're going to stay in Alaska and keep trying to catch crabs? Are you going to stay in Alaska and change jobs? You're going to start catching fish instead of crabs? Are you going to change jobs in Alaska and work for an oil company? Or are you going to jump ship and move to Maine to join the fishing/lobster industry over there? Now, for this, remember, very important, you're going to have to explain at the end why you chose what you chose and why you did not choose the other ones. So you have to explain which one of these you pick and why you did not choose these other ones. Now, in order to do that, you need some information. Right? You have to think really hard about this. You're going to analyze information to try to figure out why the crabs are going away in Alaska, why the population is decreasing. Because for all you know, you might go to Maine and there's no lobsters there either, for the same reason there's no crabs in Alaska. So you're going to use some of this information to figure out if it's a good idea to move to Maine. You're also going to use some background information to figure out if you're going to do a different industry in Alaska. Now, what I'm going to give you some help with is what I'm about to say right now, right? Think about what's causing the population of crabs to decrease in Alaska. Figure out if it's also decreasing in Maine. Think about what other industries, right, like the oil industry in Alaska, how does that affect the environment? Does that affect the crabs? How does it? There's no oil industry in Maine. Does that affect their lobsters? Does it negatively affect them? Does it positively affect them? So you're going to have to figure out in your brain why what's happening with the crabs is happening, if it's happening in Maine, and if it's a good idea to do one of these other industries, right? You're going to become a fisherman. You could probably catch fish in Alaska. Do you think that'll last? Are you going to be an oil worker, right? Think about the environmental issues that are with fossil fuels. If you need help, just ask me. This one is interesting. You don't have to really think about this.